Losing a loved one. One of the hardest characteristics to adopt when losing a loved one is patience. But this has been stressed throughout the teachings of Islam. One must understand that being impatient is not going to change history. What has happened cannot be changed by someone's behavior. A person who has lost a loved one will experience this loss, whether they are patient or impatient. If they are impatient, they would have lost their loved one, and lost out on the countless reward which comes with patience. Chapter 39 Az-Zumar, verse 10.
Indeed, the patient will be given their reward without account, i.e., limit.
In addition, they may even displease Allah, the Exalted, with their behavior. Whereas, if one demonstrates patience, they will still experience the death of their loved one, but they will also receive an uncountable reward. So either way, a person will experience the death of a loved one, but they must choose which path to walk down, the one of reward or the one of further distress. This is connected to a hadith found in Sahih Muslim, number 7500, which advises that every case of a believer can lead to blessings. If one shows patience in difficulty and gratitude in times of ease, they will always be encompassed with the blessings of Allah, the Exalted. In addition, one must always remember the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, found in Sahih Bukhari, number 6424. It advises that when one is patient for the sake of Allah, the Exalted, over losing a loved one, their reward will be nothing except paradise. Even though facing the loss of a loved one is extremely difficult, one should always remember Allah, the Exalted, never burdens someone with more than they can handle. Chapter 2 Al-Baqarah, verse 286.
Allah does not charge a soul, except with that within its capacity.
Death is a reality which is fixed in time for everyone. It cannot be postponed or sped up, and understanding this fact can help one accept that the death of their loved one at a specific time was unavoidable. Chapter 3 Ali Imran, verse 145.
And it is not possible for one to die except by permission of Allah, at a decree determined.
Therefore, showing impatience for a matter which was unchangeable does not make sense and will never benefit anyone. Another thing which encourages a person to adopt patience is to understand that their loved one has moved on to something much better than this temporal world. Yes, people cannot guarantee who will enter paradise or hell, but it is a teaching of Islam to always have hope in the infinite mercy and forgiveness of Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 39 Az-Zumar, verse 53.
Say, O my servants who have transgressed against themselves by sinning, do not despair of the mercy of Allah. Indeed, Allah forgives all sins.
In fact, no one has the right to restrict the infinite mercy and forgiveness of Allah, the Exalted. Therefore, one should always hope that Allah, the Exalted, will forgive their loved one and enter them into paradise on the Day of Judgment. Therefore, one should reflect on the difficulties of the material world and be pleased that their loved one has escaped them and arrived to the mercy of Allah, the Exalted. This attitude is more apparent and obvious in respect to those who passed away in their childhood, as there is no doubt all children will directly enter paradise. This is confirmed in many places such as the hadith found in Sahih Bukhari, number 7047. It is important to note that as advised in a hadith found in Sahih Bukhari, number 1302, true patience is shown throughout a calamity, meaning from the very onset of the difficulty onwards. Accepting the reality of losing a loved one with the passing of time occurs with everyone. This is acceptance, not true patience. It is important to address a common misconception in Islam. Some believe it is not permitted to cry over the deceased. This is incorrect, as the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, cried on many occasions when someone passed away. For example, he wept when his son Ibrahim, may Allah be pleased with him, passed away. This is confirmed in a hadith found in Sunan Abu Dawood, number 3126. In fact, crying over someone's death is a sign of mercy which Allah, the Exalted, has placed in the hearts of His servants. And only those who show mercy to others will be shown mercy by Allah, the Exalted. This has been advised by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, in a hadith found in Sahih Bukhari, number 1284. This same hadith clearly mentions that the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, cried over his grandson who had passed away. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, also wept when one of his companions, may Allah be pleased with him, was close to death, and clearly advised in this hadith found in Sahih Muslim, number 2137, that a person will not be punished for crying over the death of someone or the grief they feel in their heart. But they may well face punishment if they utter words showing their impatience with the decree of Allah, the Exalted. It is clear that feeling grief in one's heart or shedding tears is not prohibited in Islam. The things which are prohibited are wailing and showing one's impatience through words or actions, such as tearing one's clothes in grief. There are severe warnings against those who act in this way. Therefore, one should avoid these actions at all costs. Not only may a person face punishment for acting in this way, but if the deceased desired and commanded others to act like this when they passed away, they too will be held accountable. But if the deceased did not desire this, then they are free of any accountability. This is confirmed in a hadith found in Jami at Tirmidhi, number 1006. It is common sense to understand that Allah, the Exalted, would not punish someone because of the actions of another, when the former did not advise them to act in that manner. Another thing which can help is supplicating to Allah, the Exalted. One should supplicate and ask Allah, the Exalted, for patience in dealing with their tragedy so that they can reap an uncountable reward. Chapter 2 Al-Baqarah, verses 156 to 157.
Who, when disaster strikes them, say, "Indeed we belong to Allah, and indeed to Him we will return." Those are the ones upon whom are blessings from their Lord and mercy. And it is those who are the rightly guided.
The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has advised in a hadith found in Sunan Ibn Majah, number 1447, to ask for forgiveness for oneself, the deceased, and to request Allah, the Exalted, to replace their loss with something better. This something better includes the mercy of Allah, the Exalted, in both worlds. One should also supplicate for the deceased as often as possible, as it is proven from the Holy Quran and the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, that it benefits them. Chapter 14 Ibrahim, verse 41.
Our Lord, forgive me and my parents and the believers the day the account is established.
And chapter 59 Al-Hash, verse 10.
Saying, Our Lord, forgive us and our brothers who preceded us in faith.
Finally, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has specifically mentioned in hadiths such as the one found in Sunan Abu Dawood, number 2880, that the supplication of a child on behalf of their deceased parent is accepted. Another thing which can help strengthen the faith of a Muslim when a loved one departs from this world is to sincerely forgive any wrong the deceased might have done to them. This causes the doors of mercy and forgiveness to be opened for the mourner, as Allah, the Exalted, forgives those who forgive others for His sake. Chapter 24 An-Nur, verse 22.
And let them pardon and overlook. Would you not like that Allah should forgive you?
When one adopts this attitude, it is hoped Allah, the Exalted, will provide them the strength to deal with their loss in a way which earns them countless reward. Similarly, one should encourage others who were wronged by the deceased to also forgive them before the day of judgment arrives. As the last day is a day of justice, all wrongs will be put right by Allah, the Exalted. So if one who has wronged another does not obtain forgiveness from their victim, they will be forced to hand over their good deeds to their victim, and if required, take their sins until justice is established. This may well lead to the oppressor being hurled into hell. This has been warned in a hadith found in Sahih Muslim, number 6579. One can and should repay any debts their loved one left behind, as this too is an important issue which will be addressed on Judgment Day. All are aware of the rank of martyrdom, yet even their debts will not be forgiven until they are settled. This is confirmed in a hadith found in Sahih Muslim, number 4880. A Muslim should also gain further blessings and the aid of Allah, the Exalted, by helping with the funeral arrangements and fees. Not only will this lead to blessings which will strengthen a Muslim in their moment of grief, but it is also considered a crucial part of helping one to move on from the death of their loved one. Another thing which can help is to perform the deeds which have been reported to benefit the deceased. According to a hadith found in Sahih Bukhari, number 2770, giving charity on behalf of the deceased benefits them. As mentioned earlier, a child seeking forgiveness for their deceased parent will benefit them. And when this is done sincerely, it provides much relief for the child also. This is confirmed in a hadith found in Sunan and Nasai, number 3681. Any act of charity which benefits others done on behalf of the deceased will benefit them. So a Muslim should strive to perform these deeds irrespective of their size. One should never consider any deed too small, as the deceased will most certainly appreciate deeds of any size. Finally, a thing which can benefit a person experiencing the loss of a loved one is reflecting on their own mortality. This might not be a pleasant task, but it will undoubtedly benefit them in both worlds, as the key to changing one's character for the better is self-reflection. In most cases, Muslims do not understand the Arabic language, so performing righteous deeds associated with it, such as reciting the Holy Quran, in most cases has little effect in changing one for the better. It is important to take a lesson from the death of others, so that one can correctly prepare for their own death. One should remember that the same way their beloved departed this world alone, so will they. A person's family and wealth will leave them at their grave, while only their deeds remain with them. This is confirmed in a hadith found in Sahih Muslim, number 7424. One should reflect now, before they reach a time when reflecting on their deeds will not benefit them. Chapter 89 Al-Fajr, verse 23.
And brought within view that day is hell. That day man will remember, but how, i.e., what good to him will be the remembrance.
Over 400 free eBooks, audiobooks, infographics, podcasts and blogs available on our website, www.shaykhpod.com.